I was sitting in my chair, staring into the darkness. Sleep had been impossible for weeks. Every time I closed my eyes, the weight of everything crushed down on me. You don't have to carry this anymore, the voice whispered. I can take it all away. My hands started shaking. The voice was gentle, caring, like someone who truly understood my pain. Who are you? I whispered. I'm the one who's been watching you struggle, the one who sees how alone you really are. The voice was right. I was completely alone, always alone. Every decision felt like it could destroy everything. Every day was like swimming through concrete. I can give you peace, the voice said. Real peace? Not the fake kind you've been chasing. I wanted to stand up, to walk away, to turn on the lights, but I couldn't move. The voice had wrapped around me like a warm blanket. What do you want from me? Nothing you haven't already given away. Piece by piece. Nothing you won't gladly surrender once you understand what I'm offering. The room grew darker. The shadows in the corners looked alive, watching me, studying me. Think about it, the voice said, fading. I'll be here when you're ready. I'm always here. Then silence, complete silence, but I knew this was just the beginning. The next night, I didn't even try to sleep. I sat in the same chair, waiting. You came back, the voice said, stronger now. I knew you would. I need to know what you're offering. Everything you've ever wanted. Success beyond your wildest dreams. Power that kings would envy. Peace that never ends. The voice was closer now, like someone sitting right next to me. All the stress, all the pressure, all the sleepless nights gone forever. You'll never feel pain again. Never doubt yourself again. Never be alone again. It sounded perfect. Too perfect. What's the catch? No catch. Just a simple choice. Choose me and all your problems disappear. Choose me and you'll have everything you've ever wanted. And if I don't? The voice laughed. But this time it was different. Colder. Then you keep struggling. Keep fighting battles you can't win. Keep pretending you're strong when you're falling apart inside. I felt something touch my shoulder. Not a hand, but something else. Something that made my skin crawl. You're special, Arnold. That's why I chose you. You have potential that others don't. You could rule the world if you wanted to. Rule the world? Why not? You're already changing it. But imagine if you had real power. Imagine if nothing could stop you. No government, no regulation, no one telling you what you can and can't do. The idea was intoxicating. No more obstacles. No more people trying to hold me back. No more sleepless nights wondering if I was making the right choices. You're thinking about it, the voice said. Good. Think harder. I need time. Time is what you don't have. Every moment you wait, you get weaker. Every moment you hesitate, you lose more of yourself. The voice was right. I could feel myself slipping away, piece by piece, day by day. What do I have to do? Just say yes. Just give me permission. Just let me in completely. The room felt smaller now, like the walls were closing in. The darkness was thicker, more oppressive. I'll give you until tomorrow night, the voice said. But that's all. After that, the offer expires. And then it was gone, leaving me alone in the darkness, shaking. I couldn't eat, couldn't focus, couldn't think about anything except the voice and its offer. During the day, I tried to convince myself it was just stress, just my mind playing tricks on me. But deep down, I knew it was real. I could feel it watching me, waiting for my answer. When night came, I was already sitting in the chair. You look terrible, the voice said, and I could hear the smile in it. I haven't slept. Sleep is for the weak. You won't need sleep once you're with me. You won't need anything. The voice was different tonight, stronger, more confident, like it knew I was going to say yes. Show me, I said. Show me what you're offering. Close your eyes. I hesitated. Trust me, Arnold, just this once. I closed my eyes and suddenly I could see everything, not with my eyes, but with my mind. I saw myself standing on a stage, speaking to millions of people who hung on my every word. I saw governments bowing to me, asking for my guidance. I saw a world where I was in complete control. This could be your reality, the voice said. All of it and more. In the vision, I was powerful beyond imagination. I could make decisions that affected the entire planet. I could shape the future however I wanted. No one could stop me. You like it, the voice said. I can feel it. I did like it. I loved it. For the first time in years, I felt truly alive. But there's more, the voice continued. Open your eyes. I opened my eyes and the room was different. The shadows were moving, swirling around me like living things. In the darkness, I could see shapes, faces, hands reaching for me. Don't be afraid, the voice said. They're my friends, they want to help you. 2. The shapes were getting closer. I could feel their presence, cold and hungry. What are they? They're what you'll become, powerful, eternal, free from all the limitations of being human. One of the shapes touched my face and I felt something drain out of me. Not blood, but something more important, something I couldn't name. It feels good, doesn't it? The voice said. Let go. Stop fighting. It did feel good, like setting down a weight I'd been carrying for years. Just say yes, Arnold. Just give me what I want, and all of this is yours. The shadows were surrounding me now, wrapping around me like chains, but they didn't feel like chains. They felt like freedom. What do you want from me? I whispered. Your soul. The word hung in the air like a curse. Soul. I'd never thought much about souls before. I believed in science, in facts, in things I could measure and prove. But now, faced with losing mine, I realized it was the most important thing I had. My soul? It's not like you're using it, the voice said. And now it sounded different, less gentle, more hungry. It's just sitting there causing you pain, causing you doubt, causing you to question everything. The shadows were tighter around me now. I could feel them pulling at something deep inside me, something essential. Without your soul, you'll never feel guilt again, never feel shame, never feel weak or afraid or uncertain. You'll be pure power, pure will, pure ambition. It sounded tempting. So tempting to never feel the crushing weight of responsibility again, to never wonder if I was making the right choice. Think about all the people who've disappointed you. The voice continued. All the times you've been betrayed, criticized, misunderstood. Wouldn't it be better to never care about any of that again? Yes, it would be better. I was so tired of caring what people thought, so tired of trying to do the right thing when the right thing was never clear. And your family, the voice said, always worried about them. Always trying to protect them. Wouldn't it be easier if you just didn't care? Something inside me rebelled at that. My family, my children, they were the most important thing in the world to me. I do care about them, but caring hurts, doesn't it? Caring means you can lose them. Caring means you can fail them. Without your soul, you'd never have to worry about any of that. The logic was seductive. If I didn't care, I couldn't be hurt. If I didn't care, I couldn't fail. Just let go. The voice whispered. Just stop fighting. It's so much easier. I felt myself nodding. It was easier. Fighting was exhausting. Caring was exhausting. Being human was exhausting. Say it, the voice commanded. Say you give me your soul. The words were on my lips. I could feel them forming, ready to be spoken. Around me, the shadows were celebrating, reaching for me with eager hands. I give you but I stopped. Something was wrong. Something was fighting back from deep inside me. Say it, the voice demanded, and now it sounded nothing like the gentle whisper from before. It was harsh, commanding, full of rage. I can't say it. The shadows were pulling at me now, trying to drag the words out of me, but something else was rising up from deep inside. A different voice, quieter, but somehow stronger. You are not his. The new voice was completely different from the first. Where the first voice was seductive and commanding, this one was gentle but unshakable. Where the first voice came from outside, this one came from within. You are not his, the voice repeated. You never were. The shadows around me recoiled like they'd been burned. The first voice, the one that had been tempting me, let out a sound like a scream. Who are you? I whispered. I am the one who has been with you always, the one who loved you before you were born, the one who will love you after you die. Jesus. I knew it was Jesus, though I'd never been particularly religious, but I knew that voice. Knew it in my bones, in my blood, in my soul. You have no power here. The first voice shrieked. He chose me. He was about to give me his soul. No, Jesus said simply. He belongs to me. The shadows were writhing now, trying to escape the presence that had entered the room, but they couldn't. Something was holding them in place. He doesn't even believe in you, the first voice said, and I realized it was the devil himself. He's never prayed, never been to church, never read the Bible. Belief is not required for love. Jesus said, I have loved him since before time began. I have watched over him, protected him, guided him even when he didn't know it. I felt something warm spread through my chest, not the cold hunger of the shadows, but something clean and pure and good. You're lying, the devil screamed. He's mine. I've been working on him for years. He's already given me pieces of his soul. No, Jesus said, he's given you nothing. What you took was darkness, not light. What you stole was fear, not faith. His soul remains whole because I have kept it whole. The warmth was spreading now, filling every part of me. I could feel strength returning to my limbs, clarity returning to my mind. This isn't over, the devil hissed. I'll be back. I'll keep trying. You will try. Jesus agreed. But you will fail. You will always fail with this one. Why? I asked. Why me? Why am I worth saving? Because you are mine. Jesus said simply, because I made you, because I love you, because you have work to do. The shadows were fading now, being pushed back by light that seemed to come from everywhere and nowhere. The devil's voice was growing weaker. You think you've won, he said, but look at his life. Look at his pain. Look at his loneliness. I'll be back when he's weak again. Then I'll be waiting, Jesus said. And suddenly, the room was filled with light. Not harsh light, but gentle, warm light that seemed to come from within me as much as from without. The light was everywhere, and in it I could see everything clearly for the first time in years. All the fears, all the doubts, all the crushing weight I'd been carrying. It was all artificial. All of it had been placed there by the enemy who had been whispering in my ear. You've been fighting him for a long time, Jesus said, without even knowing it. I have. Every time you chose to help people instead of just the light was showing me visions now, but these were different from the ones the devil had shown me. Instead of power and dominance, I saw innovation and healing. Instead of control, I saw collaboration. Instead of ruling the world, I saw serving it. This is what I created you for, Jesus said. Not to dominate, but to elevate. Not to control, but to free. Not to rule, but to serve. But I'm not religious. I don't even go to church. Religion is not required for righteousness. Love is, and you have love in your heart, even when you try to hide it, even when you think you've lost it. It was true, despite everything, despite all the pain and disappointment and betrayal. I did still love. I loved my children. I loved humanity. I loved the idea of a better future. That love is me, Jesus said. Every act of love, every moment of compassion, every choice to help instead of harm, that's me working through you. The devil's voice came one last time, weak and fading. This isn't over. I'll be back. Yes, you will, Jesus said calmly. And when you come back, I'll be here. I'm always here. The light was fading now, but not going away. It was settling into my bones, my blood, my soul. I could feel it there, warm and strong and eternal. Will I see you again? I asked. You see me every time you choose love over hate, every time you choose hope over despair. Every time you choose to build instead of destroy, I'm always with you. And then the vision ended, but the presence remained. I was alone in my chair, but I wasn't alone. I would never be alone again. I fell to my knees, shaking, breathless. The room was normal again. No shadows, no light, no voices, but everything had changed. I had changed. For the first time in months, I felt peace, real peace, not the empty promises of the devil, but the deep, abiding peace that comes from knowing you're loved, you're protected, you're not alone. I understood now why the devil had been after me for so long. He knew what I was capable of. He knew that if I chose the right path, I could help make the world a better place, and he couldn't allow that. But Jesus had stepped in. Jesus had been there all along, fighting for me, even when I didn't know it, even when I didn't believe in him. He believed in me. I thought about all the times I'd felt that gentle nudge toward doing the right thing. All the times I'd chosen to help people instead of just helping myself. All the times I'd felt compelled to build something that would benefit humanity. That hadn't been my own goodness. That had been Jesus working through me. The devil would be back. Jesus had said so himself. There would be other dark nights, other whispered temptations, other moments of weakness. But now I knew the truth. Now I knew I wasn't alone in the fight. I stood up slowly, my legs still shaking. The sunrise was beginning to show through my window, painting the sky in shades of golden pink. A new day was beginning, and I was beginning with it. I had work to do, real work, not building an empire or accumulating power, but serving humanity, building a better future, choosing love over hate, hope over despair, light over darkness. The devil had tried to take me, but Jesus had stepped in, and now I knew that no matter what happened, no matter how dark things got, I would never be alone again. I walked to the window and looked out at the world. It was still broken, still hurting, still full of pain and suffering, but it was also full of possibility, full of hope, full of love, and I had a part to play in healing it. The devil had failed, Jesus had won, and now the real work could begin. I smiled for the first time in months. It was going to be a good day. The next few weeks were different, not easier. If anything, they were harder. But they were different because now I knew what I was fighting against. Now I knew I wasn't fighting alone. The devil kept his word. He came back, just like Jesus said he would. But now I could recognize his voice immediately. Now I knew the difference between his whispers and my own thoughts. "You're making a mistake," he would say when I chose to help someone instead of maximizing profit. "You're being weak," he would hiss when I showed compassion. "You're wasting your potential," he would sneer when I chose service over domination. But every time he spoke, I heard Jesus' voice, too, quieter, but stronger. "You are not his, you are mine." I started reading the Bible, not because I felt like I had to, but because I wanted to understand. I wanted to know more about the one who had saved me. The stories were familiar somehow, like I'd heard them before in my dreams. The story of Job particularly resonated with me. A man who had everything, who lost everything, who was tormented by the devil, but never abandoned by God. I understood now why the devil had been so persistent with me. He'd been given permission to test me, to push me to my breaking point. But like Job, I had never been alone in the struggle. I started praying. At first, it felt awkward, like talking to myself. But gradually, I began to feel that presence again, that warmth, that peace. I wasn't talking to myself, I was talking to my Creator. "Thank you," I would say every morning. "Thank you for saving me. Thank you for not giving up on me." And I could feel his smile in response. The changes in my life were subtle at first. I found myself being more patient with people, more forgiving, more willing to listen instead of just talking. The crushing weight of loneliness began to lift, replaced by a sense of purpose I'd never felt before. I started making different decisions. Instead of asking what will make me more successful, I began asking what will serve humanity better. Instead of how can I gain more power, I asked how can I use my influence to help others. The devil hated these changes. His whispers became more frequent, more urgent, more desperate. "You're ruining everything," he would say. "You had the chance to rule the world, and you threw it away for what? For people who don't even appreciate you?" But I knew the truth now. Ruling the world wasn't the point. Serving the world was. I began to see Jesus everywhere. In the face of a child who looked up at me with wonder. In the gratitude of someone whose life had been made better by something I'd built. In the sunrise that painted the sky every morning, reminding me that each day was a gift. The nightmares stopped. The sleepless nights became fewer. The crushing anxiety that had plagued me for years began to fade. Not because my problems had disappeared, but because I knew I wasn't facing them alone. I started telling people about what had happened to me. Not everyone, and not all at once, but gradually, carefully. I began to share my story. Some people thought I was crazy. Some people thought I was having a breakdown. But others understood. Others had their own stories of darkness and light, of being lost and found, of Jesus stepping in when all seemed hopeless. The devil had tried to take me at my weakest moment. He had offered me everything I thought I wanted: power, control, freedom from pain. But Jesus had shown me something better. He had shown me love. He had shown me purpose. He had shown me that I was never alone. Now when the dark whispers come, I'm ready. When the temptations arise, I have an answer. When the devil tries to convince me that I'm worthless, that I'm alone, that I might as well give up, I remember that night. I remember the light. I remember the voice that said, "You are not his, you are mine." And I smile because I know it's true. I belong to Jesus. I always have. And nothing the devil can do will ever change that. The battle isn't over. It never really ends. But I know who wins in the end. I know whose side I'm on. And I know that no matter how dark things get, the light will always be stronger. Jesus stepped in. Jesus saved me. And now I live every day trying to be worthy of that salvation.